Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into one of the most mysterious creatures in all of folklore, a monster born of the deepest, darkest trenches of the ocean, a leviathan whispered about in hushed tones by generations of terrified sailors. Imagine, if you will, the vast, unforgiving expanse of the open sea. You're miles from shore, a tiny speck on an infinite canvas of churning water, and then a shadow. Not a cloud, but something impossibly large, rising from the abyss. The waves around your vessel begin to churn, not from a storm, but from an immense disturbance beneath. A forest of tentacles, each thicker than a tree trunk, begins to emerge, slick and glistening, reaching for your ship. The air fills with a musky, briny scent, and the crushing weight of an ancient, predatory intelligence bears down upon you. This is the stuff of nightmares, the ultimate fear of the unknown that lurks beneath the waves. For centuries, this colossal beast has haunted the imaginations of mariners, swallowing ships whole, dragging entire crews into the icy depths. It is the stuff of myth, a creature so impossibly vast and destructive that it could only exist in the fevered dreams of sailors lost at sea. But what if I told you that this legendary monster, this terrifying titan of the deep, might not be a myth at all? What if the legends, the chilling tales passed down through generations, were actually rooted in a very real, very terrifying creature that still prowls the ocean's depths today? Today, we're setting sail into the murky waters of history and science to investigate the legendary kraken. Could this truly be one of the ancient monsters that was, in fact, real? Prepare to question everything you thought you knew about the deep ocean and the terrifying wonders it conceals. The legend of the kraken is deeply embedded in the seafaring cultures of Scandinavia, particularly Norway and Greenland, dating back to the 12th century. Ancient texts describe a creature of unimaginable size, capable of pulling ships into the abyss. One of the earliest and most detailed accounts comes from the Norwegian text, the Konungsskagsja, or King's Mirror, written around 1250 AD. This text describes a colossal beast that looked like an island, so immense that sailors would sometimes mistake its back for land, only to be dragged down when it submerged. The text warns that the kraken could create enormous whirlpools that would suck everything nearby into its maw, and that its sheer bulk would draw fish to the surface when it settled, a grim warning that its presence indicated danger rather than a bountiful catch. Later, in 1752, the Danish bishop Erik Pontoppidan penned his Natural History of Norway, providing perhaps the most famous and detailed description of the kraken. Pontoppidan, who was a respected naturalist, compiled numerous sailor accounts, stating with conviction that the kraken was the largest monster in the world. He described it as being round, flat, and full of arms, an animal that could be half a Norwegian mile, around 2-3 miles in circumference when fully surfaced. He recounted tales of its destructive power, how it could capsize the largest warships, and how its emergence from the deep would create immense ocean currents. Pontoppidan even suggested that its droppings were responsible for the rich fishing grounds of Norway, a rather unsettling thought. These aren't just one-off stories. These are consistent, terrifying narratives passed down over centuries, often by grizzled sailors who had faced the most brutal conditions the sea could offer. Pliny the Elder, even further back in the 1st century AD, mentioned enormous squids and octopuses, referencing a 30-foot octopus that attacked fish farms in Spain, suggesting that tales of giant cephalopods have an even deeper antiquity, predating the Norse sagas. The sheer consistency and widespread nature of these accounts beg the question: were these terrified mariners simply hallucinating, or had they witnessed something truly extraordinary? For centuries, the kraken remained firmly in the realm of myth, a terrifying but ultimately fictional beast. But then, as scientific exploration of the natural world progressed, something incredible began to emerge from the depths. The scientific explanation for the kraken begins not with a mythical monster, but with a very real, very massive animal, the giant squid, Architeuthis dux. For a long time, the giant squid itself was considered a cryptid, a creature of legend, known only from fragments, beached carcasses, and the stomach contents of sperm whales. But in the 19th and 20th centuries, as more intact specimens were found, the true scale of this creature became undeniable. The giant squid is a colossal invertebrate, reaching lengths of up to 43 feet for females, including its 2 extraordinarily long feeding tentacles. Its eyes are among the largest in the animal kingdom, and its powerful, parrot-like beak is capable of tearing flesh. This isn't just a big squid, it's a deep-sea predator of immense proportions. But Architeuthis might not even be the biggest player in the kraken's story. Enter the colossal squid, Mesenichoteuthis hamiltoni. First described in 1925 from fragments, an almost intact specimen wasn't captured until 2007. This creature, while perhaps not as long as the giant squid, is considerably heavier and more robust, with a mantle body that can be twice the size. Crucially, its tentacles are armed not just with suckers, but with sharp, swiveling hooks, making it an even more formidable and terrifying predator. Scientists believe both giant and colossal squids inhabit the deep ocean, often at depths of 1,000 feet or more, only rarely surfacing or being washed ashore. This explains why direct sightings by humans have historically been so rare. The evidence suggests that these creatures are the primary food source for sperm whales, and whale carcasses often bear circular scars from the suckers and hooks. In the case of the colossal squid, of these titanic cephalopods, silent testimony to battles fought in the crushing darkness of the abyss. The sheer size, the powerful tentacles, the deep-sea habitat, it all perfectly aligns with the chilling accounts of the kraken. Could these deep-sea giants, occasionally glimpsed by terrified sailors, be the biological basis for the ancient legends? Scientists believe it's not only possible, but highly probable. While ancient mariners might have only caught fleeting glimpses of dead or dying specimens, or perhaps had incredibly rare, terrifying encounters, modern technology has allowed us to confirm the existence of these creatures and even observe them in their natural habitat. The 20th and 21st centuries have provided irrefutable modern sightings and even direct footage of giant squid. In 2004, a Japanese research team captured the first images of a live giant squid in its natural habitat. Then, in 2012, a team led by Dr. Edith Witter captured the first ever video footage of a live Architeuthis ducks in its deep-sea environment, using a specially designed camera system. This wasn't a blurry photograph or a fisherman's tale. It was crystal-clear evidence of the creature's existence. These incredible breakthroughs validate the historical accounts, lending credence to the notion that ancient sailors were not entirely fabricating their stories. Imagine an encounter with a 40-foot creature with eyes the size of dinner plates, tentacles powerful enough to crush bone, and a predatory intelligence. Such an encounter, even if brief, would undoubtedly be seared into memory and embellished into legend. There have also been anecdotal accounts, some from wartime, of submarines encountering giant squid. During World War II, a U.S. Navy tanker allegedly reported a giant squid attacking their vessel, leaving immense sucker marks on the hull. While these specific accounts are hard to verify, they underscore the continuing human encounters with these elusive giants. Even today, the ocean remains largely unexplored. Scientists estimate that we have explored less than 5% of the global ocean, meaning there could be even larger, more massive cephalopods lurking in the deep, creatures that could truly rival the most exaggerated tales of the kraken. The modern sightings confirm their existence and make the ancient legends all the more plausible. So, what's the verdict? Was the kraken real, extinct, or pure myth? Based on the overwhelming historical accounts, combined with the irrefutable scientific evidence of giant and colossal squids, the answer is a resounding yes. The kraken was, in essence, real. It wasn't a single, mythological monster in the fantastical sense of an impossible creature, but rather a mythological interpretation of very real, incredibly massive deep-sea cephalopods. The ancient sailors, lacking the scientific understanding and technology we possess today, encountered these creatures, either directly in terrifying, rare incidents, or indirectly through beached carcasses and the tales of others, and crafted a legend around them that perfectly captured their awe and terror. The kraken, as described in Norse sagas and by Bishop Pontoppidan, is a hyperbolic, exaggerated version of the giant and colossal squids. The creature that could be mistaken for an island, that could drag ships into the abyss, and that could measure miles in circumference, is undoubtedly an amplification of reality. But the core elements, a massive, multi-tentacled creature of the deep capable of immense power, are not mere fantasy. They are biological facts. The story of the Kraken is a powerful reminder of how myth often springs from reality, how our ancestors attempted to explain the inexplicable with the tools and understanding they had available. It bridges the gap between folklore and zoology, demonstrating that sometimes the monsters lurking in our stories are just undiscovered animals waiting to be scientifically identified. The deep ocean still holds countless secrets, and while we've confirmed the existence of these incredible giant cephalopods, who's to say what other colossal wonders might yet be discovered? What do you think, myth or reality? Is the knowledge of the giant squid enough to demystify the Kraken? Or does a part of you still wonder if something even bigger, even more terrifying, still lurks beyond our sight? Let us know in the comments below. And until next time, keep exploring the boundaries between legend and truth.